Alright, we've had rain. I've been to the store, but it's rained all night and now it's raining today. I'm going to show you the pitfalls of the rain and why I have a three-man tent. Why I go for the extra room, and it is because I want to stay dry, and if I get pinned down by bad weather, rain, snow, I've had a windstorm pin me down all day. So I've got my own method of dealing with it, and that method includes having enough space for your wet stuff and your dry stuff, because you cannot leave your boots out in the rain. You cannot leave your wet rain suit out in the rain. One of the things I learned is, even if it stops raining a little while and I haven't undone my boots, and then I take off my rain suit, and then I start to undo my boots, I'll get my back soaking wet, sometimes just like someone sprayed me with a garden hose, because things can change that quick when you're dealing with Mother Nature. So what we're trying to do now is safely and dryly get inside. So here's how I do it. Before I left, I knew it was raining, so what I did was wrapped up my sleeping bag just in case. And you see, just opening the door, I got water in here. So it's not as easy as you might think to stay dry, even when you have a three-man tent. What if I had a bivvy? You can't even stand up in that thing. So here we go. I'm gonna stop worrying about filming while I get my rain suit pants off first. And then I come in with my dry pants and I kick my boots off. There we go. I don't know if you can see, but you got the concept. Then I take off my wet rain suit pants. I roll over to do that. These are my nice dry socks on my boots until I get all this inside and quarantined and wet. Over on the wet side. That's right. The boots go over there. They're not muddy, and they're not. They're just wet. And then I take off my rain jacket. Trying not to get everything all wet, because that's all wet. Not on the inside. Right. You can imagine a bivvy. Alright, you can only lay down in a bivvy and you can't get all your equipment in there. So what does that mean? That means not only am I stuck when it rains or snows, laying in the flat position for however long, and that could be a day and a half, 2 days. It's just not worth it to travel so light, because if I don't have, at the end of a long heavy day of pedaling, if I don't have comfort, I am feeling like a miserable old man, alright? I've got to have warm and dry and safe and secure and private. And that's why I love my tent. Somebody had made a comment, why do you have such a crap tent? Well, it's heavy. Well, I require heavy because I'm not, what do they call them? An ultralight camper. That's not my way of travel. It might be if I was to do that for a weekend. I'm not a weekender. What am I? A long-term guy. Not only with this trip, with others. And so trial and error has taught me that I need to guarantee a dry place. And that's not just because I don't want to be wet and I'm a big wuss. It's because when you get around 30 degrees, getting wet is potentially fatal from hypothermia. And there's no one to help me. If I camp next to a truck stop, there is. But otherwise, I can't just... it's an unacceptable risk for me to not be dry, for me to not have a guarantee that I will be able to get in a warm sleeping bag at night, because hypothermia comes on over a period of hours or quickly, and it clouds your judgment, and I don't like being cold, so I require this crap tent. The reason that the floor leaked and why I have a tarp down now is because I wasn't able to re-waterproof the bottom of the tent. Last time I waterproofed the tent with Scotchgard, and I had waterproofed it when I got it, and there's a video I want you to see. One of mine when I began my Michigan trip across the UP, the Upper Peninsula. It's called Stormy Start, and I went to a state campground, and it was all sand and pine trees, and I don't know if you've ever camped in wet sand. It sticks to everything. It's not a, and I thought, why are they, it looks like a dump truck dumped a bunch of sand here and then they raked it out. And so it's supposed to rain, and it did, and it rained really hard, and then I figured out why they had dumped that sand there. It's because the campsite floods when it rains hard. And it flooded on my tent, and you can see the floor of the tent is waterproof, because it was like a water bed. You could tap it, boom, boom, boom. And so this tent is a good tent. Someone had commented that it wasn't, and I disagree. Also commenters have said, oh, just get a bivy tent, which is like a tube you crawl into with your sleeping bag, and it just doesn't afford me enough room to get my gear in here too. Say I'm pinned down for a day, I got to do some video editing, I want to relax, I don't want to be in a prone position. I want to be able to sit up. It's good for my mental health. I'm not a survivalist as much as I am a nomad. And so the bivy doesn't work for me, even though it's much lighter. But if I can't get my gear in, say I want to work on one of my electronics. Okay, where is it? Well, I can't get the saddlebag in here, so it's out in the saddlebag. Okay, do I put on my rain suit and get out there? Or just do I run out there for a minute and get soaked? It's the real world is a lot different from a camping store website. I'm telling you. All right. And I've been doing this a long time, and I require my tent. The other thing is my tent pops up immediately. I used to have a tent that I got rid of because it had the same arch, but you had to feed these poles, these collapsible poles through here. Well, in the dark, in a snowstorm, that is a big pain in the butt. Same with getting the tent down. It takes 5 times longer to put up a tent, even if I'm, really skilled at it, that type of tent. So when I saw this Mountaintop Outdoor Adventure, I went for it. And this mechanism still works after 2.5, 3 years of heavy use. I'm sure it wasn't designed for a bicycle hobo like me. But anyway, on the face of it, if you've commented and said, hey, why don't you get a bivy or a lighter tent or whatever, I require a 3-man tent. It's got to be, I have to have my dry, safe place, and this is it. And I've grown to love it. And I don't care if it weighs 5 pounds. It is worth every ounce. There, now I'm going to relax in my dry, safe place.